Always watching. This is the Marble Hornets movie, which I wanted to watch and I completely forgot about. This came out, I think, in April, and I just thought of it. I randomly saw something about Marble Hornets, and I was like, what happened to their movie? I look it up, and it's out, and I totally forgot to watch it, so that's why I'm watching it so late. I watched it last week, and I didn't really know what to expect going in because I found out about Marble Hornets 3-4 years ago from, I think, a YouTuber mentioned it, and I was like, what is that? Because, yeah, 3 years ago, Slender came out, and I had already watched the Marble Hornets entries then, so I'm not really familiar with the origin of Slender and all that. I know, I think I know he's from Creepypasta, and then Marble Hornets took it and made a whole thing, and then the games and everything. So I didn't know if this was gonna be more along their YouTube videos, and I'm glad it wasn't, because the YouTube videos they're good. I enjoyed watching them, and I'm still subscribed to them, and I still watch whenever they upload, but at this point, I have completely lost what the story is. I have no idea what the story is, at all. There's a lot of abandoned buildings, there's a lot of pills, and there's a lot of people being unconscious, and I can't even tell you what the story actually is, because no. So going into this movie, I was hoping that there would be a bit more of, not an explanation, because I don't want to know the origin of Slender, I don't want to know why he's doing what he's doing, but I was hoping there would be a bit more of development, not just people running around with the camera and nothing happening for hours. And I'm glad that this movie provided some entertainment. It wasn't scary, though, which sounds like an insult, because I think they were trying to make something scary, but it wasn't. Maybe it's because I watched it in broad daylight. Maybe if I watched it by myself in my room at night, I would have been a bit more freaked out, but I was a lot more freaked out when I was watching the first entries years ago. Maybe because I was younger, maybe because it was something new, maybe because I was watching those at night, so I was a bit more freaked out back then. And now it was just oh, he's here. Okay, they call him in the description, he's called the Operator, so that's why I'll refer him as the Operator. It's a very simple story, actually. It's just 3 people, a cameraman, a writer, and a news reporter. They're working together in a story, and it's about people that leave their houses behind and shit like that. So there's this guy that goes in and inspects the houses and shit. So they go in to one of these houses, and everything's just there. The lights are still on, everything's there, their family pictures, all their belongings. They didn't take anything, which is not normal. So they go down to the basement and they find tapes. They start writing a story about how this family vanished or whatever, or they ran away. They go through their footage and they start seeing the Operator, a guy in a suit. They immediately think that it's just someone that's stalking the family, and maybe it's a serial killer, and that's why the family ran away. So they start investigating. They have no idea that it's something supernatural at first. So there's drum people in outside my window. That scared the shit out of me. There's some guy yelling outside. Anyways, so they start investigating, and then that's when they sort of figure out that this is something more than just a regular serial killer that's stalking the family, and now is stalking them too. So the acting was okay. Chris Marquette is in this, and I think the last time I saw him was 6 years ago or something. When did the Beautiful Ordinary come out? That's, I think, the last time I saw him. So I was just excited to see him. I was like, oh, I know this guy. And the girl was very familiar, and I couldn't remember where she was from, but oh, wasn't she? I think I just remembered. Wasn't she from She's the Man, the awful girlfriend that no one liked. I think that's who she was, but she has red hair in this movie. She's not blonde anymore. That was 2006, so I haven't seen her since 2006. That took me a moment to realize who she was. Okay. I liked it. I mean, it wasn't anything special. It wasn't anything terrible by any means. The acting was alright. There were some cool shots. There's some cool sound effects and things like that. My favorite part about Marble Hornets in general, not just in this movie but on YouTube as well, is when they just have a person with the camera going through a house. It's so fucking simple and it's boring in other movies, but with them, I feel like there's actually a purpose to it. They're actually like methodically going through different rooms of a house and expecting that, and you always expect that something's gonna happen, and even if it doesn't, it's setting the atmosphere and the mood, and I like that. And it might be boring to some people, it might be boring in other movies, but for some reason I really like it in this one and in their YouTube things in general. There's a lot of walking around the woods and abandoned buildings and houses at night with a flashlight, and it's always this creepy feeling like you're being watched. So it's a very straightforward thing. My computer is so loud. I'm getting interrupted left and right today. I couldn't even film. I haven't filmed in forever. So, yeah, my computer is so loud. Goddamn. Just turned off. And, what I liked about this is that it was self-contained. It wasn't like this huge, intricate story where they go and, you know, investigate the lore and the background and the legend of Slender Man. It was, they're getting chased, let's fucking run away and try to survive. Like, so, and they actually were logical about a lot of things, which was good. They weren't just, they were unlikable characters, but they reacted in a good way, I think, to certain things. They were one of the typical, stereotypical horror movie characters where there was a noise there, let's investigate. No, they were actually like, there was a noise there, let's get the fuck out of this house. Like, that's what I liked. And they just, I like the way it was presented. It was found footage a lot of the times. No, it's actually, what am I saying? Everything was found footage. What the fuck am I saying? Everything was found footage. It was Milo, the main guy, who's the cameraman. He always has a camera on him, which of course there has to be a character like that, right? But I guess it's justified because he's a cameraman in real life. Like, that's his job. He films the news. So I guess that justifies him having a camera all the time. I have no idea, but okay. Jake Gyllenhaal didn't have a camera in Nightcrawler 24/7, but okay. And so he's always filming, and everything's through his camera, and then sometimes they show the footage that the family have filmed before that. So it does go into, I wouldn't say background, I wouldn't say the story, but, or the motivation, but it does sort of mention, and it would be considered a spoiler, so I won't say it, but it does sort of go a little bit into how the Slender Man come to you, like how, why, you know, which is not something that, it's a big aspect, but it's not such a huge aspect where it's like, I didn't want to know that, like, I don't care. I don't care to know where Slenderman comes from. I don't get to know why he's doing this. I don't even know why he's doing it. The movie does a good job at presenting to you this story of these three people getting chased by Slenderman, the operator, whatever you want to call him, and then what happens to them, and that's it. And that's a contained story, and I like that. They completely went off the rails on YouTube and their entries there, because at no point do you know what the fuck is going on. Like, at no point do you know what Slenderman is doing and what's happening. Like, he just shows up, the camera goes all fuzzy, and then he's fucking gone. And then you, like, everything's back to normal, and you have no idea what happened and what's happening at all. So, I'm talking a lot, and I'm not saying anything important. So, yeah, basically, I did like it. you don't need to know the entries on YouTube to enjoy this. I would say this is way simpler. It's a simplified Marble Hornets project, I guess, and that's it. And I hope they make more things like this in the future. I have no idea if they will continue. They haven't uploaded anything forever. They're uploading like these little videos. It's like these creepy like lake something. It's called lake something. They uploaded a few of those, and I have no idea what they're for. Maybe a new project. I have no idea, but I hope they continue making things like this. I enjoyed it a lot. I have no idea if they worked on the game, on the Slender game. So if anybody knows if they worked on that, because there was Slender 1 and Slender 2, and I want to say that they did work on it, but I have no idea. So, and those games were okay. Like the first one was sort of scary for the first 5 minutes, and it's like, oh, it's just jump scares and that's it. This wasn't jump scares. When Slenderman shows up, it's not a jump scare, and it's not scary. It's more like, oh, he's here, like something's gonna happen now. So that's about it. I wouldn't say it's like the game or anything like that. It is more like the YouTube entries. And I'm tired now, so yeah, that's it. I did like it. If you enjoy things like this, won't be scared though. Not a scary movie, I wouldn't say. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to getting a bit scared because I had just watched Mama previously to that, and that didn't scare me. So I was hoping, and I actually freaked myself out. I went on YouTube and I started watching like these scariest videos on YouTube and scariest ghost stories, and they were so fake and so ridiculously fake and staged. But there was one that freaked me out so much, and I think it's fake, but the idea of it freaked me out. It was this guy walking his dog, and he sees a woman with a child in like a wood area or whatever, and the child is like floating up, and he's filming them. Then he doesn't film for a second, and then the kid is back on the ground. They go away. So that's obviously fake, but the idea of it really freaked me out. Like, why is this kid, like, why would a kid be floating? That freaked me out for some reason. But yeah, Marble Hornets, Slenderman, why is he called the Operator? I have no idea. They didn't explain it. I don't think they actually call him anything in the movie. They just call him like that guy or that serial killer, and then they figure out that there's something more, and they're just like, fuck this shit, we don't have time for this, let's go. So yeah, I did like that they weren't the stereotypical awful characters, and I liked the way it was shot, and I liked the way it was sort of, you get a glimpse of these people in these situations. Like, you feel like you're part of the story. It's not like Paranormal Activity where it's just cameras mounted up on the ceiling. Like, it wasn't CCTV or anything like that. It wasn't, the camera was actually with them at all times, so you felt part of their group. And that's about it. So I have a headache now. That's about it. So yeah, watch it. I would say it's enjoyable. Watch it with friends. You have a good time. You might get, if you have a friend that's really easily scared, they might get a bit freaked out. But if you don't get easily scared, I don't think this will do it. So yeah.
Milo, what are you doing, man?